Hello beta testers, welcome back. This is the drip worksheet for line source. We have already entered in the last video. I demonstrated how we entered in the zones for the plants, the counts for the plants, and in the point source we actually, let me go back to point source, we put in the present diameter and not the mature diameter. So with line source, we're actually watering areas, not individual plants. So when we do the hydraulics for the zone, and I'll bring up this map of the zones here. Here was the original map, landscape plan. This was the landscape plan with the water uses. And what we did in the previous video was we made all of this zone 1 and this zone 2. Zone 1 is low, zone 2 is moderate. So then what we have is this. So now what we need to do for line source is we need the total square footage for each zone. So we're not using the present diameter of the plants because we're not watering the individual plants with line source like we are with point source. So we need the square footages of each of these zones. So going back to the line source worksheet, I go down to zone 1, and right now it's showing the areas of the plants as I had put them in for the point source. So this would be the size at which they get planted. So we could do one of two things. We can either enter in the mature diameters of these plants so that we can get a better idea of the hydraulics, or we can just go ahead and use the square footage of the zone. I prefer using the square footage of the zone because we will be putting in a drip grid that will be watering 100% of the soil in zone 1 and 100% of the soil in zone 2. So the sizes of the plants really doesn't matter in this case. So when I look at this, and again, zone 1 over here, zone 2 over here. So now when I look at this and I want to do the line source drip worksheet for zone number 1, I need to add up all of these square footages. And what they come to is 894 square feet. So I go back to my drip worksheet, and instead of this 101 square feet, I want to change to the custom area of this zone. And I have zone 1, and I'll put in 894. Click submit. So now when I come down to zone 1, I have the true square footage of the zone here. So we have the soil type listed for it, and when you come into this calculator here, it will suggest which emitter line tubing to use based on the soil type. We have a soil type of sandy loam, so it's suggesting either 0.6 gallons per hour or 0.77 gallons per hour. And off to the side here, it says which manufacturers actually make that individual tubing that we're talking about here. And so what I usually like to do is go with the tubing that is made by the most number of manufacturers. So I'm going to go with the 0.6 gallons per hour. And sandy loam soil, I'll go with the 12, and I'll go with the 14. Let's go with 16 first. So then what happens is it fills in with the hydraulics automatically. 894 square feet. If we put in emitter spacing and row spacing of 12 and 16, then these are our results. And it looks like we have a total flow for this zone of 6.7 gallons a minute, and we would need 3/4 inch pipe in order to support that flow for this zone. So the lateral pipe leading up to this zone needs to be minimum size 3/4 of an inch. So that's how that works. And then we would go ahead and do it for zone 2 as well. Zone 2 is 320 square feet. Come back here, I go to zone 2. I change to custom area. Zone 2, I put in 320 square feet and come back down here to zone 2. Here we have the 320 square feet. So I'm still going to go with 0.6 gallons per hour, and I think we had gone with 12 inch and 16 inch in zone 1. Let me just check back. So it doesn't stay, this calculator doesn't stay the same. Really, you just get it. It is entering it into the database. So when I say 12 and 16 here, then when I pull up my report, it will have the 12 and 16. And I'll show you a report in a moment. So 12 and 16, 12-inch emitter spacing, 16-inch row spacing on this. And we can see the grid recommendations, and that's actually the exact same thing that shows up here. And then we have the zone run times for the established plants. So while the plants are getting established, you'll want to recommend that adjustments be made to the schedule until the plants are established. Okay. So then let's go ahead, and I'm going to go back to 1 and make sure that I have 12 and 16, because that's what I've decided on, is 12 and 16 and not 12 and 14. So it looks like we're good. And let me go ahead and take this away, come back here. Now I'm going to look at the drip report. Here's the drip report, and I have my hydrozone plan in there, and I would like you to contact me if you'd like to get your hydrozone plan in here. At this point, I have to do it manually, and you can't upload it yourself, but it's a really nice addition to the report. All right, cover sheet of the report, then we have zone 1 and 12 and 16.6 gallons per hour. The recommendations and the zone run times. Zone 2 is the same. Custom area, 320 square feet. Here are the recommendations, and there is your runtime schedule. All right, if I hover over line source, I can click on it and go back to the worksheet. So now I'm going to actually download the PDF, which is the drip report. And I'll show you what that looks like. So for this project, and I would get this drip report off to the client and the installing contractor. There's the cover sheet. It looks just like it did when we checked it in the app. Zone 1, the emitter grid recommendations and zone run times. And then zone 2, emitter grid recommendations and zone run times. And then on the last page, we have a disclaimer. Okay. So that is the line source drip page. A couple more things is that the written, I have these 2 links here. The written instructions are at the bottom of each of the drip worksheet pages, and all you have to do is click. There's the summary, click. It's an accordion is what it is. It's got the information inside of it when you click it. And then if you choose to do the video walkthrough, I don't have it linked now, but I'm going to make it so that when you click on this, it will bring up the video while you're on the page in a separate pop-up so that you can look things up if you need to. Then we have the drip resources and the contact. Okay, so I believe that's it. That's it for our walkthrough, and feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Okay, bye-bye.